We are wrestling. We are wrestling podcast.
They give a shout out to We Are Wrestling on YouTube.
You're watching We Are Wrestling.
Stop!
I'm the host with the most.
You are by far the least intelligent.
What's going on, everybody? Danny Huckins here, man. 1/3 of We Are Wrestling.
What's going on? We are Wrestling Maniacs Worldwide. Ben here, the third of the talk show.
We Are Wrestling Podcast.
Make sure to subscribe, baby.
And
We are wrestling.
what is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, Mr. We Are Wrestling, the best one, Donnie here with.
What's going on, everybody? Danny Huckins here, man. 1/3 of We Are Wrestling. My fucking thing broke, man. So I'm not in that happy of a fucking mood. But anyway,
This thing broke.
so these guys over here twinning it, man, got the Hawaiian gear on. What's going on, you Asian fuck?
What is going on? We are Wrestling Maniacs. Ben here, the third. It's weird saying the third because it's not very often that we have the three in the same room. So what is up, guys? We have a fucking great episode ahead of you guys. A lot of juicy stuff. But before we get into all that and the cool shenanigans, Don, hit him with the stuff.
That's right, and surprisingly, this worked out really well because
I overslept by
originally
20
this
minutes.
week on the podcast, Ben was supposed to record with a special guest, but things, came up,
Yeah.
and everybody, all of us were busy. I was away on vacation. Ben, you were, getting famous this week, and Danny has just been, Danny. It's been a pretty busy week. But before we dive into all the topics and stuff for this week's episode of the podcast, if you're not We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers,
Yeah.
we recommend you to hit that subscribe button now, turn on the post notifications, videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO, and of course, you already know, the grind is real. And if you're
Yeah,
listening
boy.
to the podcast, we recommend you guys to give us a 5-star review and download the episode. We want to, keep expanding with the We Are Wrestling podcast. So if you're listening or watching, we appreciate the love and support.
Exactly, man. But you didn't say where they can listen to it. You guys can listen to it and download it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, man. You can download us all over our faces and chests and necks. Oh my God, what a fucking week it's been.
So the first thing I definitely want to talk about this week is Ben on YouTube, the Load Rager channel, man.
Oh, God.
Finally surpassed We Are Wrestling in subscribers. Almost at 5K now. How do you feel?
Nervous. So one, I just want to point out that it was never a goal. Two, it happened out of nowhere. Like literally out of nowhere. I reacted to this one fellow by the name of Ren, who actually is becoming low-key my spirit animal. I was at I think 22 or 23K or something like that, or not 23K, 2300 altogether. I reacted to one video, and then I woke up from my little pre-work nap, and there was 500 more subscribers sitting there, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Reacted to another video, which was probably I think it's been a week from today. It's sitting at 13K, and in the first 2 days, it was at 7K, and then it just it's still going up. Just like my subscriber count, weirdly, and it just kind of happened out of nowhere, and it's still happening currently as we speak, and yeah, it's really weird. It's a really weird feeling because it was just, I thought it was going to be like 1,000 subscribers every year, which for somebody like me, that's very understandable, and I'm totally I expected it, and I was actually stoked for it, and I'm still stoked about it, but it's just picking up really fast now for whatever reason, and I'm grateful, but I'm nervous because that is a lot of pressure now. Now it's like I really have to not only structure things a little differently, I got to do things a little bit more differently. I have to broaden my, reaction pool. It can't just be in one genre specifically anymore. And there's a lot of interaction. It went from like, max like 24 people would like my post, and that's every so often. It was like 3, maybe 5, like averagely, and now it's like we're reaching more towards like the 50s and hundreds, and there's like general interaction and shit, and it's really weird. There's a saying, the things that you're stressing about are also the things that you're literally in the middle of what you dreamed about. And it's weird because it's happening now, and I'm like, and it's crazy because the dude Ren that I react to drops a lot of references in a lot of his songs of wrestling, and it's kind of crazy. Like I told Danny that I geeked the fuck out because he made a Hardy Boys reference. It's like I geeked the fuck out, and I caught it on video, which was awesome. But yeah, like with all that success, I guess. I think the biggest takeaway from it is I get to talk to just a lot more really, really cool people on the daily, and they made it fun again, So yeah, almost at 5K. It's really exciting. And in just a week, it was at a week ago it was at not even 2,500. So I mean, I'm pretty humble, and I'm grateful. So
it does make it worthwhile though, because once you see like the subscriber count go up, it's like different when you get like 1 or 2,000, but once you start getting into like the 3s, the 4s, the 5s,
that's when
you
shit
know
gets
what
real.
I mean?
Yep.
It's like,
the algorithm's feeding.
I need to start taking this a little bit more serious than I previously was.
Yeah, it's like now I got to really think about, all right, I can't say a lot of certain things, I can't go off, and just stay in one genre. I actually start hearing from labels. I start hearing from, people that work with labels. I start hearing from collaborators. I have bands approaching me now. I have, it's weird. I also got my first super thanks payment as well. Like I didn't like process in like my bank account or anything, but it was $25 for the first one.
That's
And
awesome.
that's nuts to me. I've never expected anybody to donate. I never, push anything like that out there. I don't do it for the money 100%. I really don't. I don't make shit on YouTube.
Reaction videos, you do not, because of copyright stuff, you do not make a lot of money at
No,
all.
you don't. So it's like I don't make shit from YouTube, and I never expected to, nor was it ever the goal. It was more for I'm a dude that loves to share my love of new music, and I love to treat my reactions as if I'm actually at a concert hearing the song for the first time. And I base it off on how I feel, what it makes me feel, if I resonate with it, and and some people seem to really like that. And like I said, it's been a blessing. I'm really, really grateful, and I'm really, really, really happy about it. And stay humble and keep the grind.
And that's
20
the best. And that's the best
$25,
thing
that's a
too.
big deal.
And that's honestly like the best thing too. Like
Yeah.
when you're doing something that you love, something that you're passionate about, and I could speak for all of us. We're
Yeah.
very passionate about content creating. We've been doing this, for years without getting, YouTube revenue, and we just do it for the love, and it's awesome. With the We Are Wrestling podcast, this, show has brought, all 3 of us even closer than we were, and this is just an awesome, time. So,
Ben started his channel on my 30th birthday, bro. September 9th, 2020.
Yeah, which is kind of nuts, and I owe a lot of this success to you guys specifically, because you guys kind of gave me that green light that I kind of had something going and that I could do it. So if I owe anybody anything in the content creation world, it's you guys. So it's kind of great that it's kind of literally coming full circle now. Like we're all pretty decently known and pretty, not like super big Goliath, content creators, but like we're starting to pick up notoriety. We're starting to pick up a following, and it's a sweet feeling knowing that we actually were able to do that and like manifest that. So after all these years and trying to figure out what the fuck we wanted to do together, we did it, and we grinded on our own.
Crazy, man.
And
Crazy.
It's fucking wild to see that glow up, man. And it's about to get so much more real. And I'm finding out that a lot of my subscribers are fucking wrestling marks too. So
Just
Just,
like us.
come
just
on,
don't-
come on. You know you want to
just-
come over here.
Reel
Just
them
don't-
in, baby.
don't forget me and Donnie once you start hitting Mr. Beast numbers, man.
Mr. Beast numbers. All right, first of all, that will never fucking happen. I can tell you that right now. Second of all, even if I get like about 100,000, if that ever fucking happened for whatever reason, that 100,000 people were like, yeah, this dude's the shit. Obviously, you're gonna show up at some point, and so there's
Yeah,
gonna
true.
be something. Like, yeah, there's gonna be something. I mean, I'm eventually next year. Adrian and a few of our buddies want to go out to. We want to take a road trip out to South Carolina and stay by the beach. And I kind of want to like start there with vlogging as well and doing like
Hell
house
yeah.
vlogs and shit. So kind of make a little thing out of it,
Well,
So
Well, Ben, you surpassed We Are Wrestling in subscribers, almost at 5K now. Won't be surprised if you get 5K by the time this episode airs. On my personal channel, Best One Donnie, where I do toy videos, I got
Oh, yeah.
300 subs. Let's fucking
get it,
go.
dude.
Let's go.
It's fucking growth. It's fucking growth, my dude.
How much growth is that? Like, what was your subscriber count before?
My subscriber count before? It's been about like at like 100 for a while. So since doing the toy videos, I've been gaining about a few hundred subs.
Dude, you
That's
should
what's up,
start doing like studio updates and stuff too. You can get a lot of good fucking traction for that as well, especially with voiceover work, like with you actually like describing what like your equipment is, showing like good video footage of like take like a little cinematic trailer of your studio. A lot of people are into those. And talk
Yeah,
about like the equipment that
absolutely.
you used to have and then talk about your upgrades and what you love about them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I've been enjoying it a lot. I've been, like I like to do like nostalgia stuff on there. I
Hell
like
fucking
to do,
yeah,
you
dude.
know,
Your Funkos and
wrestling
shit.
figure unboxings. I love doing my Funko videos, Nickelodeon nostalgia. I've been having a
Hell
lot of fun
yeah.
doing the Best One Donnie stuff, and I've been enjoying it a lot.
I'm
and
growing
my
too, man.
TV channel's been growing too.
Oh shit.
I'm almost at 1,200 followers on TikTok. It's a pretty
Hell
big
fucking
deal, man.
yeah, dude. That is a fucking phenomenal deal, dude. Like seriously, and I think TikTok you said is like also like starting to pay content creators and everything
Mm-hmm.
for like
I
it's like
got-
every 1,000 views it's like $1 or
I
something
got
like
it.
that.
Yeah, for on one of my streams last week, I got like 5 roses from somebody, and that equals
5
out to like
roses. You got a
Roses,
secret
ooh.
admirer.
Danny's got a secret admirer.
no, they're like gifts or whatever that
Charlotte
people
Flair.
donate towards your streams. Yeah,
It's Charlotte Flair. Woo!
Yeah, currently I'm sitting at 4,647 as we speak in real time.
we're gonna have to get
while
a
we record this.
we're gonna have to get another update towards the end of the show.
Yes, we are.
Okay, it's probably not going to change because I haven't uploaded in 20 hours and they've been used to my upload speed. So I'm like I've been killing it. Like I went to work the other night when I had to fill in and fucking I got home around like fucking like 2:30 and I just fucking worked. Like 2 a.m. to like 2:30 in the morning and I just kept going and gas on the pedal until like 7 in the morning. So I like went from barely sleeping to working to coming home in the middle of the fucking night and just fucking went in. Like, just went in. And I think we reacted to, 5 videos that night? So I'm like, yeah, dude, I was on fire. And I edited all of them, which took hours.
The
Which I think the upload was the
grind
longest.
Is real.
But it's like
Learning.
once the higher in subscriber count you get, it's almost like more of a responsibility. Like it's different when you only have a couple hundred people watching you because you don't know how
Take
many
your time,
people legitimately like actually watch out of the couple hundred you have. But once you start getting like into the like the high thousands or whatever, it starts
Yeah.
to become real. Like I need to really start buckling down and fucking doing this.
I think another thing that I really do want to speak on when it comes to gaining a following and one of the things I love the most about it is a lot of the nice things people have to say to you just by the way you are. Like it just
I feel like the good outweighs the bad.
it really does because there's some fucking mean people out there that are just really snide that just want to say some shit and it's not like horrible shit, but it's like why say it in the first place? Like
You
why
gotta have
take
very-
the time?
You gotta have very thick skin. Not everybody's gonna like everything that you do. It's
No,
just
and
the way it is.
I accepted that, and there was hundreds of people that were defending my case and also kind of took it among themselves to comment on those other negative posts and defended my case even further. I left it the fuck alone for the most part. But again, rooting it back to where I was going, it's a lot of the shit that people say, especially like if you really struggle with mental shit like I do. A lot of the shit that people say, like Exhibit A, the fucking message I sent you guys with a picture attached of me absolutely sobbing, that was one of them. That was probably the most powerful thing somebody has ever said to me, and I don't even know this person, and I just, and that's just for me getting absolutely fucking stoked off of a random song that just happened to be something that moved me. Like, just moved me, like, literally. Like, I was going fucking in saying the F word constantly. Like, that, for me to get that comment, I'm not going to say what the comment was for this person's privacy, and I'm not just going to, say some shit like that. I mean, yeah, it was posted to the public, but I'm not going to, for that to be the response, I could stop tomorrow and be fine. Because that's what it's really all about, is reaching people. And it's not even like reaching them for their money. Like I said, I don't make shit on YouTube, and I don't ever expect to. And if I never did, I don't fucking care. I just love doing what I do. And for that to be the payout, man, what more can you say?
Exactly.
What more can you
And
say?
speaking of responsibility, I didn't have any responsibility this week because I actually got
Let's
a week
go.
off of work, and I ended up going on
Yeah.
vacation to Cape Cod with my fiance, and what a great time it was.
Hell fucking yeah, what'd you do? What was your highlight moment of being there? Like, what was that?
Spending a lot of money.
He
Mini
said, "Money,
golfing,
honey."
eating, arcades, ice
No-
cream. It was
No
fun.
lie, man. Every time I went on social media and I saw a post from this guy, he was either eating or playing mini golf.
My dude loves food and mini golf. That is a fucking vibe,
And
man.
going to the arcades and hitting them jackpots, baby.
Yeah, dude, fucking
right.
got what, 3 hole-in-ones just back to back to back or something like that, or like 3 hole-in-ones in one
I
game.
got 3 different hole-in-ones
In
on
one game, right?
18 hole course. And then the last hole, which is hole 18, if you get a hole-in-one on it, you get a free game. So I actually got a free game out of it.
Wow. Okay, so guys,
And I can use that card anytime, any place, anywhere, just like the Money in the Bank contract. You can cash it in anytime, any place, anywhere. Yeah, that's right.
I gotta say this one. Yeah. All right, so I gotta say one thing, and I was actually gonna say it with the whole mini golf comment, but you just tied it in with what you just said there. That was the most Wonder Bread ass white dad shit that I've ever heard in my entire life, and I need to commend you for that. Like, that was absolutely phenomenal. That was delivered with such elegance and just finesse. Bravo. Bravo.
But
Good
yeah,
on
no,
ya.
with like Cape Cod, like I've always enjoyed going out there. It's always been, a ritual in my life. My grandfather, my papa, he used to take, my entire family. So like
Holy
we would
shit.
have like all my aunts, my uncles, my cousins. And
Me?
yeah, it's, been a ritual my whole life. I've been going there, every year, and I get to do it with my fiance. She loves, going out there as well. And just, we get to create memories. That's where, last summer I proposed to her.
Hell yeah, he got
Cape
down on
Cod.
bendeth knee. That's
Yep.
fucking right, man. Hell yeah, dude. I'm so glad that you had a great time and you got to, you get to do this on your own now. You get to, when you guys start a family of your own, you can continue to do that. And, it's wild, man. It's a wild experience. That's something I'm excited for you and Meadow down the road when you guys decide to do that. When you guys decide to take that further step and all that shit, that's going to be rewarding as hell, man. So I'm really, really stoked that you had a good time. And, you're already planting the seeds for the future.
Absolutely, man. And I can't wait to, have kids and, take them to Cape Cod and get to experience what,
you can
I
wait.
got to.
You can
Yeah.
wait. You can wait a little bit.
Oh, trust me. I know from both of you guys.
You can wait a little bit. I mean, like,
you've been
mine,
the angels and the devils on my shoulder for the past
Dude.
year.
mine is currently in the living room playing with her toys on her tablet, watching TV, and absolutely chilling with the cats right now, and I could not be more proud. Like, I absolutely love and trust that child with everything, and she lets me do this. Like, don't get it twisted. The boss is letting me do this right now because it's her time right now, and she was like, "Okay, Dad, love you." I'm like, "Okay, shit, shit." I was like,
Yeah,
I raised a genius.
I love my kids to death, man.
She got
But
integrity.
it is a very very hard job,
It
and
is, but it's the best fucking job, man. I wouldn't give it up for anything.
But with the kind of lifestyle you have, you know, you wanting to go to work and do nothing but content creating, and you know, wanting to be able to go out and do certain things you do have to kind of give up or
Well, of course.
work around, you know, when
Time,
you have
man.
kids. But
Absolutely.
But the
But
thing is,
this
she knows I'm
week
here.
in,
So.
the wrestling world, man, there's been a lot of highlights of the week. And I got to ask you guys, what's your highlight of the week?
I'm gonna go first. The fact that we're definitely already going into the angle of turning LA Knight face. I cannot comprehend to anybody how much I fucking love LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
I love LA Knight. He is my favorite anything right now. Like, Bloodline is like obviously top tier shit, but there is just something more about LA Knight and his promo work. Like, literally, this dude barely has to fucking wrestle. And all he needs to do is just talk. You don't even have to give him anything. Be like, just get this just across, say it how the fuck you want to say it, and, you know, leave him with that. Let it's out for the birds and fucking come back. And he'd give you a gold goose on a fucking platter, man. Like, the dude is absolutely just if charisma had a walking, talking form, it would literally be L.A. Knight. Yeah. Like, this dude is the best thing right now in pro wrestling. I'll fucking say it. Like, LA Knight is the best thing in pro wrestling. And he's like, you could call me the megastar. He's like, you could call me X, Y, and Z. And then he's like, but you know, sooner or later, you will be calling me the fucking champ. And I'm like, get this man a fucking strap already, man. Like, get this dude some fucking gold. Like, the fact that they did not put their eggs on him to win the Money in the Bank is criminal. But I will say, though, I'm not mad about it because he really doesn't fucking need it. He doesn't need it, dude. There's a lot of shit. He is one of the old school fucking dudes that can strap up his boots and just show you what he can fucking do, and he'll take it home. He is a literal he walks like Stone Cold and talks like The Rock. Literally the best rendition, the best thing that anybody has said. Walks like Stone Cold, talks like The Rock, but is very much himself. And I love that shit about LA Knight. So he is literally the personification of what the attitude would still be like today.
And that's
So
the thing
I love
about
it.
LA, and that's the thing about LA Knight as well. I've been saying it from the get-go. SummerSlam,
Eli
it's
Drake,
going
too.
to be Austin Theory defending that championship against LA Knight.
They're
LA
teasing it
Knight's
already.
going to turn babyface, and he's going to win that championship and make it prestigious. He's going to strap a rocket ship on him, and he's going to take off. And I recommend you, Ben, if you have any free time on your hands, go watch some of his Impact Wrestling promos as
Eli Drake, right? Yeah. I saw
It's
the
a
one that he did with
masterclass.
fucking McIntyre and I forgot who else in the ring.
Camacho, I think.
Camacho, yeah. He was like he was just kind of defending them, I guess. And I was just like, dude, this is money. I'm like, he's always had it. So the fact that they fumbled with him.
I've been such a big fan of him going all the way back to Impact Wrestling.
Now, can you answer a question for me?
Yeah,
Do
what's up?
you know the official that he had an issue with that got him fired?
So here's what happened with Impact Wrestling with him. I actually
Oh no, I was talking
this.
about WWE when they first let him go.
Oh, okay. Well, I can just give you.
Do
I
you
know
know?
all the history when it comes to him. So
Okay, yeah, give me that.
The issue with LA Knight was he was in NXT as Sean Richter, which was his name in the independent circuit.
His first name is actually Sean too, right?
Yep. So he's going by
Okay.
his real name, and there was a lot of wrestlers that had issues with Bill DeMott. He was the guy running the Performance Center. Another notable name was Dolph Ziggler's brother, Ryan Nemeth. He was another guy that was a part of this, issue. And, Bill DeMott, he pushed people over limits, and he just had issues with, certain guys, and he would target certain people, take advantages of, like his powers, which LA Knight didn't say Bill DeMont's name in the interview.
But you can kind of
But
guess.
you already know if you do the research and you see some of these former WWE superstars that have
Just
come
kinda-
out and
yeah.
said stuff about Bill.
Okay,
And then
so
in Impact
all right, that makes
Wrestling,
sense.
what happened was he, was having issues with the creative side. Like they really didn't have much for him. And then
Okay.
he was supposed to wrestle a intergender match, I believe, with Tessa Blanchard. And,
Okay.
LA Knight, he doesn't really want to, work intergender matches. Like he made it clear, and Impact had an issue with it. He asked for his release. They gave it to him.
And then he showed back up in the big dog.
Well,
big
he went to
leagues.
NWA for a little bit. Then he showed up at the big dog.
Bro, pro wrestling is the
NWA
only
to WWE is fucking nuts. I'm sorry.
pro
That's
wrestling
nuts.
is the only industry to where you can fucking lose a job because you don't want to beat up a woman.
Well, oh wow, yeah, that's fun. That's actually funny that you say that, because that you did just kind of weirdly speak facts. So I'll defend you on that one. I feel
Well, we don't
like
have
he
to
just
dive
wants
in,
to
but the thing
classically
is,
do
though,
it.
like we don't really have to dive into like the intergender stuff.
Yeah, dude, you're right.
That's a whole
Yeah,
can
you're
of
right.
worms we don't need to open.
Yeah, this was already just a good topic to talk about. Was just LA Knight.
Yeah, but that's like
so.
what happened though with LA Knight though. But hey, he's in WWE now. He's doing his thing, and I'm glad that he gets to be seen
He's
by a
on the
bigger
rise.
audience.
And this is also going to be playing into his future world title status, because him having a strap is going to show what he can do for a title. So I'm really stoked about it. I'm really stoked on it.
Danny, what's your highlight of the week, buddy?
We started off strong, so you got to have something good to follow up, son.
I don't necessarily know. Like I spent almost a week without streaming or really doing anything.
Yeah, it's weird not seeing your shit pop up constantly.
My
right? He wasn't bothering me that much on vacation.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I have to say, I will say, all right,
Bro, they
The
fucking
best
focused
thing-
in on his Chucky poster. He was blurry for a second.
Chucky.
it's the fucking We Are Wrestling production team. Get the camera focused.
He's spazzing. I'm sorry. Anyways, continue, bro. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. It was just funny.
Jay Uso super kicking the fuck out of Paul Heyman last night, man.
Oh, and Paul Heyman can sell the fucking ice to an Eskimo. So yeah, it's obviously great. Yeah, I can.
We
go.
got
I was
main
al-
we got
it
main
was
event
almost
Jay
that for
Uso,
me.
man.
Yeah, that was almost my moment, but I was like, you know what? Nah, I gotta go with LA Knight, just because if there's any opportunity to talk about LA Knight, I take it.
Oh, absolutely. I
I
definitely
was literally
agree.
listening to his song on repeat at work last night while I was stocking shelves.
That song is catchy.
LA Knight.
So yeah, I would have to say the whole Jey Uso and everything that's going on with the bloodline. Next week we're getting this rules of engagement thing, whatever, between Roman and Jay. Apparently Jimmy's gonna be
Pussy.
out for 6 to 9 weeks or something. He has something wrong with his ribs. But I was thinking, like last night after seeing that promo,
Probably,
right?
like they're probably giving time to hit a gym.
Jay spent a lot of time, so did Paul, talking about, when we were kids, me and Jimmy were inseparable.
Right,
We were at the hips. Everywhere he went, I went. Everywhere I went, he went. I feel like there's a very real possibility at SummerSlam we could see Jimmy fall back in line with Roman and cost his brother the match.
I could
But
see that
why?
happening.
But what's
That is a possibility.
but
because
what's
they,
the
They want
point?
to split the Usos up, and it only does make sense for that to happen.
But I feel like that really brings down Jimmy's credibility and like everything he's worked so hard to change, that it's kind of fucked up to do that, because it's like you had this moment where you had him finally turn and he finally put respect back on his name. Like we were literally saying that Jimmy's better than Jay for a little bit there.
Yep.
You know, I never thought in a million years I would ever commit such a fucking sin, but I did multiple times openly.
Not a sin.
A sin multiple times, and I
Go to
fucking did it
church.
openly. Exactly. I need to go to church at this point. Yeah, I just, so to turn him back, I feel like, what the hell did you tempt him with? Like, what the hell did you say to him? Like, what is the point of this? Like, I feel like we would need a little bit of a build up there, but there
I
is
feel
none.
like-
he got his
I
ass
feel
beat,
like-
he just falls in line. The fuck?
I feel like it would help prolong the Bloodline storyline, because obviously it's going to be going until middle of next year, sometime after Roman loses the titles, and then he's really gonna lose his fucking everything, including his mind. So it'll help prolong the storyline going
That
forward.
is a pretty. They
No,
do still have a pretty long time until WrestleMania.
nobody would fucking expect that, bro.
And that does open up a feud with Jimmy and Jay. And Jay, we can finally get main event Jay.
Because
Which
we
I
know
think is what the ultimate goal is.
we know for a fact Jay's not going to beat Roman at SummerSlam. Roman's not going to lose twice, 2 matches in a row.
What would you do if he did? What would you do?
I'm marking the fuck out.
I'm sorry. When he finally picked that title up, dude, and that crowd erupted, and just the way he looked holding it, I'm just like,
yeah, but don't forget,
the
entire WWE universe was behind Sami Zayn too when it comes to winning the title.
I was just gonna say that Sami Zayn, he was very over too, and they still made the decision to have Roman beat him.
But here's the difference.
Either that,
but here's the difference,
or
though.
Here's another theory, real quick.
Hold on, before you get into a theory, I could see it going to Jay in some capacity. There's something there because he was also the first guy to pin this fucking guy. And it's coming full circle. It began with Jay. It's going to end with Jay.
Do you know how stupid
something? Yo, what if the Royal Rumble Jay won?
That would be nuts, but it's got to be Gunther.
Even though it's
I
going to
want
be
Gunther,
and they're going to find some way, somehow, Cody Rhodes will be fighting Roman.
Adrenaline in my soul.
Either that, or here's my other theory.
Rhodes.
Here's my other theory that I would say this one is a little bit more likely, but we won't know until SummerSlam happens. What if Solo costs Jay the match? Jimmy shows up and gets involved, and that sets up a match between Solo and Jimmy at Payback in September.
Or
could happen.
Because I know we're going to be getting a Solo versus Roman sooner or later.
I want to see Jay versus Paul Heyman, bro. Give me that fucking match.
Oh yeah, dude, put that shit right on the WrestleMania card, main event night 2. Anyways, I will say 100% though, what I also could see happening, it's kind of a hot take, but I'm still going to go with it because I ain't no bitch. I will say what could also happen is not only could Solo cost Jay the match, I could see him clearing the ring. And then when Roman comes back into the ring, I can see Solo fucking hitting him with a spike. I can see him hitting him with a spike.
I feel like they're waiting until Rumble for that. But who knows with the Bloodline? That's what makes it so fascinating and interesting. We really don't know what's going to happen in the storyline, which is why I think this is, one of the most, popular storylines in all of pro wrestling right now.
Yeah.
Exactly, man. And that definitely has to be my highlight last night. Just seeing Jay in the ring and that promo that he cut last night. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see it.
Nope.
Absolutely fucking fantastic, bro. And he went, he went full on main event Jay Uso, bro. He was almost screaming like he wants Roman's ass, bro.
Jay is better than Jimmy. But now, my highlight of the week, surprisingly, isn't anything on television wrestling-wise because, obviously, I was away this week. Didn't really, watch any pro wrestling that much. Only YouTube highlights. But SmackDown, I still,
Sounds like Ben when it comes to AEW.
Doing reactions and stuff to that. But, my highlight of the week has got to be both Blitzkrieg Pro and GCW, because before I went to Cape Cod, on Friday, I went to the Blitzkrieg Pro Luau show, which, We Are Wrestling. We're a proud sponsor of Blitzkrieg. And they put on a fantastic show, which potentially could be the last show at the Pierogi Hall. And these people, every match on that card was fantastic. Not one match disappointed me. And I think they just put on a great show all around. I think all the guys knew that this could potentially be the last show at the Pierogi Hall. So they went beyond and they put on great matches. And GCW on Saturday, me and Meadow, we went there, and this was my first ever, game changer, wrestling show. I was hoping to see Matt Cardona, but he wasn't there, unfortunately.
You got Nick Gage though.
But I did get to see Nick Gage. I got to
Hell
see
yeah.
Alec Price. I got
One
to
of the
see, a
OGs.
lot of talent. And I got to say, out of all the wrestling companies that we've witnessed, in the past, 20 years,
Yeah.
GCW is the closest thing to ECW that I've seen. I could not believe it. Because
Would you argue
ECW wasn't just hardcore wrestling. They also had a lot of, high flying stuff. They also had like
Hell
a
yeah.
really unique style. And that's something that GCW, I really noticed when I was watching. Like, it really felt like one of those indie mug shows. Like, we were standing like it was a concert. And, man, they are talented. Even Waves and Curls, man. They were even on the card, too. And
I
they got
want
an
to get your
opportunity. Crowd was popping for them.
I want to get your guys'
Oh,
opinion
yeah.
about this.
Fucking love Waves and
Real
Curls,
quick.
bro.
So it came out, I want to say last week. Speaking of GCW. So this does kind of tie in with what you were just talking about. It just got announced last week that Jeff Hardy is going to be appearing for GCW in Detroit, SummerSlam weekend. And I mean, GCW, Nick Gage and a lot of those guys are very, they're party animals. They're very
I'm
hardcore.
gonna stop you right there. Jeff
Uh,
Hardy isn't scheduled to wrestle, but after the show, he is going to be doing a concert.
Well, yeah, but he's still appearing.
so
You
what
know what I
happened
mean?
that
So that
last time?
that's
So I
just,
just-
it's a huge topic that everybody's talking
Oh,
about.
it's a red flag.
And I mean, who's to say, somebody from GCW doesn't, call him out, start talking shit, and he, gives the fans a quick little swanton or gets has some kind of physical activity, involved in the show. I mean, I don't know if he's legitimately just gonna show up and do autographs and a concert or whatever after the show. But it's just a big topic that everybody's talking about with Jeff Hardy trying to maintain his sobriety. Is it smart for him to be around that kind of environment?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
went to a GCW show, and I don't know if
I don't
right now
know.
is the time for Jeff Hardy to make an appearance. And I'm not trying to bash Jeff Hardy at all when I
No,
say
but-
this, but there was literally a wrestler smoking weed throughout
Oh.
the match. And I think his name was the Reef Man. And there was
The Reef Man.
There's a
Yeah,
lot of
Reefer.
people.
Yeah, that's
There's a
That's
lot
Ben's
of drunk
gimmick.
fans. There's a lot of people drinking.
no. It would be the
I don't
Grim
know if
Reefer.
that's definitely a good place for Jeff Hardy to be. Thinking about it now,
Yeah, dude. I'm
might not be
I'm
the best
sorry,
for him,
but
especially because this happened not that long ago. I feel like
Yeah.
right now might not be the best
no,
time.
too soon.
But I do really hope Jeff Hardy, does, stay sober throughout this and, can make a, appearance there because the crowd is very hot and electric over there. So I just hope that everything does go right for him.
For sure. But Dan, referring back to the whole my gimmick shit, no, it would not be the Reef Man. It would be the Grim Reefer.
You guys could be a tag team.
Dude, it was great.
Absolutely.
And I can't wait for that vlog to come out,
on the
later
smoke
on
train.
this week on the channel.
But yeah,
Hell
I just
yeah,
want
bro.
because you were talking about GCW, I just want to throw that in
Hey,
there.
that was a good, that was a good segue. But up next, we're going to be diving into some of the topics for this week's episode of the podcast. We'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling Podcast 65.
Like and subscribe.
Hey, this is Flip Gordon. You're listening to the We Are Wrestling Podcast. Let's flip and go!
Are you looking for wrestling content? Well, We Are Wrestling provides everything pro wrestling. The best one, Donnie, Danny Huckins, and the Load Rager Ben are wrestling marks like you who love this sport. We Are Wrestling has it all when it comes to wrestling content. We have different podcasts, vlogs, reactions, full wrestling matches, live pay-per-view watch-alongs, interviews, predictions, and so much more. Only on We Are Wrestling. What are you waiting for? Subscribe and become a We Are Wrestling Maniac now. We're back, and our first topic for this week's episode of the podcast, Brian Pillman Jr., former AEW star. His contract expired with All Elite Wrestling, and this past Thursday, he was spotted at the WWE Performance Center. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, Pillman Jr. has yet to sign with WWE and was told that what he's doing resembles a bit of get to know you meeting, and that WWE immediately was interested when he became available. Should WWE consider signing Brian Pillman Jr.?
I'll go before Ben because I'm
Go
a
ahead.
little bit more familiar with Brian Pillman Jr. All the way back from his MLW days. I do think it would be a good signing if WWE does get their hands on Brian. He didn't really do much on AEW. You know, the whole cheerleader and the whole, the what the fuck are you eating, bro? This dude's over here eating beef jerky while we're talking about Brian Pillman Jr., man.
Hey, you said you were gonna go first, and like I said, I've been eating since 2 a.m. So
That's
go
what
ahead.
that's what everybody did when he was on AEW television. Um, I think it'd be a good move. It'd be a very smart move. I do think, he'd be able to add elements to NXT that aren't quite there yet. I could see him having feuds with the Creed brothers. I could see him, there's just a lot I could see him being involved with there, and eventually make it up to the main roster. Um, you know. The thing about me when it comes to Brian Pillman Jr., I feel like he's very generic, and there's not really any kind of like specialty when it comes to him, or at least like just from what I've saw. You know what I mean? He is a spitting image of his fucking father, though. So, wasn't his dad working with WWE when he passed away? This would be like a
He
full circle
signed,
moment.
yeah, he signed with WWE back in 1996. He did a lot of stuff in WCW as well. I know he was in a tag team with Stone Cold Steve Austin when he was doing the Stunning Steve. And I don't know, man. I've watched Brian Pillman's career, Junior's career, from his first year of actually becoming a wrestler because Northeast Wrestling, they actually put him on their card during his first year. And I even got to watch him at Big Time Wrestling not that long ago, teaming with Brock Anderson, who's Arn Anderson's son, versus FTR. And
Yep.
I saw a drastic improvement with his in-ring work. I think that he's got a look. I think that, he can cut a promo. I think that, he definitely has what it takes to be a star in the business. And I think, WWE would be a perfect place for him, to mold into, the best version of himself. And I think in NXT, they definitely can, tweak some things and, sharpen his character to where like he could definitely become a top star. I think he definitely has what it takes to do it. And I think WWE, this would be a fantastic signing for them. And I think he could definitely bring something to NXT.
I think
Wow.
it'd be good, and I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you this right now. Just knowing the history that Brian Pillman and Steve Austin have, and didn't Steve Austin show up at Brian Pillman's house and he had like a gun on like Monday Night Raw and like that whole controversial segment from back in the '90s.
Yep.
I'm telling you right now, if Brian Pillman shines at WWE, even if it's a quick interaction, bro, we need to have Steve Austin and Brian Pillman Jr. in some kind of interaction backstage segment at some point.
That would be really cool, I think. That
Talk about
would
a
be
full
cool.
circle moment. Damn,
Maybe
kid, you
even
look
have
just like
him
your
on,
dad.
one of the talking, the Stone Cold podcast there. They could do
Broken
a
Skull?
show there, which would be kind of cool. And, Stone Cold can share, some stories about, his dad. And I think that that would be a really cool WWE Network exclusive. But
Yeah.
here's the thing, like in AEW, I was very disappointed in his run. They had him in this tag team called the Varsity Blondes with, Griff Garrison. He's fucking garbage. And they had, Julia Hart, who, was definitely the bigger star out of the three because she went on to joining the House of Black. But with, Brian Pillman Jr., like he's always been very talented. And I never understood why AEW never gave him that opportunity because in his feud with MJF, they had a short feud and he was very over with the crowd and he looked great. So I'm very
That
surprised
was
he wasn't used properly. But honestly, man, he definitely, fits the mold of, being a WWE star. And I think that he could actually be a lot better than what people expect him to be. I think a lot of
bro.
people are going to be surprised.
The MJF feud with that Brian Pillman Jr. had, insane, man. Like this is why MJF is such a good heel, because he knows how to, ruffle some feathers. And for almost 2 weeks straight, everybody was talking about, when he called Brian Pillman's mom like a crackheaded whore on live television. Like, that feud was just so good. I wish they would have given Brian Pillman Jr. a better opportunity, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think, what Ben's thinking about right now, there's a lot of, talent in AEW. And,
Yep.
there's only so much TV time you have. And, he was primarily on AEW Dark because they never really had anything for him.
Yeah,
And I just
that's the
think
problem.
that it's better for him to move on. Even if he doesn't go to WWE, I think he's definitely going to be very successful. I know Jim Ross even said that he's not worried about, Pillman Jr. because of how talented he is. So
Yeah.
wherever he goes, he's going to succeed. But I definitely would love to see him in WWE.
I feel like how he wrestles, his gimmick, and how he carries himself is definitely a better fit for WWE than it is for AEW, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
No, you're not wrong. All right, so short and sweet. I'm a fan of anybody that has a job. One, like, obviously he's passionate. I feel like Brian Pillman in general could have had more. Could have definitely deserved more. So to see, and again, I'm a fan of second generations as well. We've seen a lot of those. We've seen a lot of good ones, and I would love to see another one. I think that any second generation deserves to kind of not only reignite, but kind of keep the relevancy of their legacy and their family's legacy. And Pillman was a pretty big deal back in the day. So I have to say, I would be for the jump. Obviously NXT first, get him, his feet in the water with WWE talent. Especially in modern day. Have him work closely with Sean as well. And then see what Triple H has to say when it's time. So yeah, I'm for it, man. I would say it's a go.
Absolutely. It seems like we're all on the same page about that one.
Yeah.
But,
Absolutely,
moving on now to our next topic, getting back into WWE now. We saw a new faction being teased on Friday Night SmackDown last night.
Ooh.
We saw the return of the almighty Bobby Lashley in a limo. And, he was talking to the Street Profits, and the Street Profits ended up going in the limo with Bobby Lashley. What are your thoughts on this potential group in WWE that's forming?
All right. So one, is it going to be a more heel group or is it a face group? Did Bobby get a pop or did he get some booze?
Oh, he got a big pop.
Big pop. Okay. And did the Profits get a pop too?
They always get a pop, but not as big
Okay.
as Bobby's. But
No, but like it would cause for an interesting talk.
yeah.
Okay. So one, it could be Hurt Business related. Two, it could be again some kind of bodyguard association for Bobby. Like it could be because if they're making a stable, Bobby's clearly the leader of that shit. Just look at him.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a feeling that we're gonna be seeing a feud with Imperium soon. I do have a feeling that that's coming because that fits the bill a little bit there.
Well, Imperium's on Raw, and Bobby and the Street Profits are on SmackDown.
But Survivor Series is a thing, bitch.
Yeah, you got me there. Okay. I'll shut up. You can continue.
I could see that. I think I could see that coming down the line at some point. Maybe some Judgment. No Judgment Day is on Raw as well. Yeah. Who knows?
I'll just put
Maybe we
it. I'll
can
just
see
put
some
it
big
this
shit.
way: WWE does not give a fuck about the brand split, bro. A week after the brand split happened, there was Raw people on fucking SmackDown and SmackDown people on Raw. So I don't even take into account the fucking brand split.
Okay,
Fuck
so what do you think
draft
about?
and
Give me an
Alright, okay.
example.
Okay. Oh shit. You opened
Sorry,
a can
Ben.
of worms.
You expect me to remember shit from fucking 2 months ago, but I know there's Raw people on SmackDown and SmackDown people on Raw.
Sammy
They're
and
flip-flopping
Kevin,
back
they're
and
tag
forth.
team champions. So
No,
they can
not
go on
them.
both brands.
Not them.
The
They
females
just
also
don't.
got tag team champions too.
They just don't care about the brand split. Io Sky was just on fucking Monday Night Raw. She's a SmackDown superstar.
Well, she
But she
does
also
have
has
the Money in the Bank
contract.
contract.
It doesn't matter.
It
Yes,
does
it does.
matter.
It does matter.
Yes, the fuck it does, because you can go for any fucking title you want.
Until she makes a decision.
She could pick up another fucking person and go for the tag team title if she wanted.
She could show up to Raw if she wants to. She's got the contract. If she wants to show up to NXT, she can.
Bro,
if she wants
she
to.
could make history and pick somebody else up and go for the tag team titles if she wanted to. It's still a championship, and she can still cash in on it.
Oh, please don't do that.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying you
I
could.
know, I
I'm saying you
know.
could, but no,
We
I
had-
don't-
we
no,
had
she's
Ri-
gonna be
we
a
had-
fucking world champion.
We had fucking when Riddle came back, he was on fucking Monday Night Raw. He's a
Okay.
SmackDown guy.
He never got drafted though. He went to Raw.
Yeah,
He's a SmackDown superstar, bro. He was on Monday Night Raw. They don't give a shit about the draft, bro. I'm telling you. So I don't even,
a reason to stay
I don't e-
Chris.
I don't even take the draft into
You know, you could have
account.
made it easier by saying Paul Heyman.
No, he's got the hall pass.
He's got the hall pass.
When you're on top of the island of relevancy and you need some wise advice for people, you can go anywhere you want. He's not a person, he's an entity now.
So how do you feel? How do you feel about this potential group, Danny?
Depends on what they do with it. Is it going to be a heel faction? Is it going to be a babyface faction? I don't necessarily. I would rule out the fact that Bobby Lashley is going to hire these two guys to be a bodyguard for them because I mean,
Before you go in, though, I do see this being more successful than the Hurt Business, though, because obviously Street Profits are a lot more over.
I
and
will
they've-
say,
you know, so
I give you that. Yes,
I think this is good. I think this is money.
I would have Bobby Lashley, the Street Profits, and Shelton Benjamin keep Cedric Alexander out of it.
You're a
and-
dick.
Oh wait, speaking of Cedric Alexander, I actually saw a tweet from him last night, and he actually did tweet that he misses professional wrestling. So he's not happy in WWE right now.
I mean, yeah, he's been sitting in catering for like fucking a year and a half, along with Shelton.
I mean, him and Shelton they had several tag team matches a couple of months ago on Raw when everybody assumed that the Hurt Business was going to reform. And then once Vince McMahon started meddling his nose back into creative, they got taken off of fucking television again.
Because they're not good shit.
Honestly, I'm very excited to see where this goes. It's definitely
too.
something different for Bobby, definitely something different for the Street Profits, and I think that this could definitely benefit all three individuals in this group because Bobby Lashley,
I'm with
he
it.
has been very stale since, the Hurt Business and, his great
Yeah.
WWE title run. And the Street Profits, with, the Usos having that long tag team title reign, they kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit and they've been losing lately. So having them with Bobby, who, we got to see, what he did for Cedric and Shelton, I think that this is definitely what the Street Profits need to get back into, the title picture. I think that this definitely has a lot of, potential, and I wonder where this is going to go because there is a lot of, possibilities here. I know
There's a couple
Omos,
avenues, yeah.
he's a free agent. MVP still around, so you never know. They can, be a part of this. We're really just going to have to wait and see with what happens, but I do like what we're seeing so far.
Yeah.
I did too. It's interesting. I did not expect to see Bobby Lashley last night, especially in that limousine. And it's got everybody talking, so we're just gonna have to wait and see.
Which, that's one thing right now under, Triple H's creative that he has going for him is factions. We've seen, Imperium do great. We've seen, the Bloodline become one of the greatest, storylines in pro wrestling within, the last few years. And even Judgment Day, they're even doing a lot of big things over there on Raw as well. So I think if there's one thing that we can take from this is let Triple H cook because he knows what he's doing when it comes to factions and groups.
And keep Vince McMahon the fuck away from it.
Yes, indeed. Moving on now to our next topic here. Going back to AEW, according to Fightful, AEW sent their talent a list of moves that are banned or need to be clear. A document that was sent out outright banned unprotected chair shots to the head, shots to the back of the head, buckle bombs, and blind moves backwards into turnbuckles, fencing responses, unnatural positions of arms following a concussion, seizure cells, spitting, bleeding in the crowd, weapons in the crowd, taking drinks or food from guests in the crowd, or physical contact with the crowd. Blood on objects is also not allowed to be thrown into the crowd. The reports noted
That's
there are
yeah.
also a group of spots that were much broader that were listed but are still permitted. Medical and coaches must approve of them. Below is a list that could be adjusted by medical, legal, and coaching staff and is not set in stone. Here's a list that needs to be approved by a coach. Spots and bumps on ring aprons and outside. Tables, ladders, chair spots in and out of the ring. Only allowed with padding. Any elevated spots outside of the barricades, dives, and ladder spots on stages, around the arena, and other places outside the ring. All pile drivers, tombstones, including sit-down drivers, hurricane ranas, and vertebraes. How do you feel about all of these new rules AEW is implementing? Similar to WWE with what
No,
they've had for years.
actually, it's a solid list. That is actually 100% safety, and I actually applaud whoever put this in motion. If it was Tony, bravo. That is 100% safety. He's preventing another Chris Benoit situation. 100%. Like, that is, a lot of it is head trauma shit. A lot of it is also biohazard shit. Like, a lot of it is like health related. So I'm going to go here. He's trying to look out for the longevity of his superstars and also the crowd safety. So yeah, no, there is nothing to say here other than spot on. Like, there's no bullshit fucking words that are being like, oh, you can't use these words. They're still allowing big spots, but with, like, obviously a lot of run-throughs and clearing from medical professionals and legal. They're taking the right precautions in the right places. So honestly, I wouldn't feel safer. I couldn't feel more safe. Like, at that point, like, that is 100%. I could definitely stand behind that, because in AEW we've already seen a couple scary injuries. Number one, Rey Fenix. Like, that is still fucking hard to watch. Bryan Danielson just broke his fucking arm in half and wrestled on it for 10 minutes.
Dante
Like,
Martin,
no.
man.
Dante Martin, like, literally,
Example.
they are literally knocking this down where it is still the AEW product, still vast entertainment, but they're bringing it to where it's in a safe measure. And there's nothing that is too bad on this list. Like, this is all reasonable, accommodatable shit. So, yeah, no, I'm 100% behind it. Perfect.
And that's the thing too about some of these rules as well. I think they've definitely implemented these rules because a lot of them that were listed on here when I was reading this long paragraph, we've seen happen already. Like the whole,
Yeah.
unprotected chair shot. Sean Spears, he smacked Cody in the head with the chair, even though Cody wanted that to happen. They can't do that anymore.
Look
The
at
fake
fucking
seizures.
this.
I
Look
believe
at
Bryan Danielson in one of his matches, he did a fake seizure cell, I think during the
Yeah.
Okada match.
bro.
And that got, some backlash.
Look at this,
MJF, in the crowd,
bro.
taking that, pouring that drink on that kid as
Dog.
well.
Fucking look at dumbass Sammy Guevara fucking chucking that chair at Matt Hardy and literally busting him the fuck open. People were pissed about it, dude. Like, yeah, it got turned into a work and it was sellable, but that just showed how fucking, like, green in the gills this kid still was. Like, and he wasn't even really looking. He just grabbed it, saw the general vicinity, and chucked it as hard as he could and knocked him in the fucking head. Do you understand how scary that is? Like, yeah, no, I'm completely behind this list because they're narrowing it down where the problem was, and they took care of it professionally. So
Yeah,
yeah,
even the buckle bombs too. Those are, dangerous spots
that
as
almost
well.
ended
So
fucking
having that.
Sting's
Yeah.
career. It almost ended it entirely. We're lucky we still get Sting. We're
I
lucky.
mean, Draws got paralyzed for life because of a power bomb move that went haywire by D'Lo Brown.
Yeah.
The
Rest in
whole
peace.
food and
Yeah.
throwing food and taking stuff from the fans and doing that. I call that the MJF special.
The MJF special. Yep.
I mean, how many times has he gone out to the ring and motorboated a female fan, or took knocked the head off of somebody, or took somebody's phone and fucking
Yeah.
threw it, or took somebody's drink, took a sip and then poured it on him? Like, that's just
Poor
that's
little kid.
that's MJF's whole shtick that he does. I do agree 100% with this list, and there's more things on this list that just need a prior approval before being done than that are being banned. You know what I mean? For
It's
safety
with
reasons.
reasonable accommodation.
Obviously, if it's necessary for the match, as long as you can, notify the head trainers and the medical staff beforehand,
Do a
like
couple
this,
run-throughs, dry runs.
This is what I'm planning for this match. That this will be a really big spot, just so everybody, in case something does happen, they know exactly what's going to be happening, so they can be prepared.
Yep,
I
so
think
they
that's
can
a
act
very
fast.
smart idea. I do think, and we're going to be talking about this subject a little bit later on the podcast. But I have a feeling that this is because obviously AEW is in talks and negotiations with Warner Brothers Discovery. I do have a feeling that it has something to do with that as to why this list has
Of
been
course.
sent out.
They want it to be a more
Absolutely.
fucking well-rounded like safety thing, and they want to make it that's quality entertainment for viewers. Like I can get behind that, like that's not unreasonable. Like it's not a Vince McMahon list where you can't use the word fucking wrestler on a wrestling show.
One person that I feel like this is really gonna benefit is Darby Allin, bro.
Yes.
That
Yes.
fucking ladder,
Abso-fucking-lutely.
that ladder spot
Mhm.
where he jumped off the ladders and fucking went into all those chairs on the Jeff Hardy, like
Yeah, that's
that
gonna
was
benefit
scary.
Jeff
So
Hardy too.
unnecessary.
It's gonna fucking benefit Jeff Hardy too. So yeah, this is
And
great.
you know something? Here's another thing that I really do like about this. Because if you are running it through Tony Khan and you're running it through the trainers and stuff, this is also really good because when I watch, AEW, matches and stuff on TV, there are certain spots that they don't get the right camera angles and stuff for.
Mhm.
And,
Edge's return.
letting somebody know that there's going to be a big spot happening before it happens, that's great for production because they're going to be able to get the
Mhm.
best camera view, which is very important.
Absolutely.
And, they are running, a television product, so you have to think about it from that perspective. That's why in WWE, they do the things that they do, and they want to, capture that moment. Because even, with Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant, back in the day, like they had to get the perfect angle shot because if they didn't get that perfect angle shot, that video would not be shown in the introductions to WWE shows, and it wouldn't be, immortalized. It wouldn't be remembered. And
Except
in
for the
AEW, there is a lot of crazy spots to where sometimes, in the production trucks, they're sitting there freaking stressed out, scratching their heads, and they're always trying to change the camera angles, and sometimes they don't get the best shot.
instead of the fuck up that Kevin Dunn did when Edge returned and fucking missed his first spear back in how many years? Fucking asshole.
Hey, one mistake compared to a lot of them that AEW made.
That's a pretty big mistake, man. That's not just missing a really cool drop kick from fucking Ricochet. That's fucking Edge's first spear back in almost 10 years. That's a pretty big moment.
But I do gotta say, like, with these new rules, I think it's a great move because AEW, obviously, outside of WWE, is, the number 2. And, they are on, a main network, TBS, TNT. And it's
Yes.
very important that,
Big.
they do follow these rules because they don't want to, get lawsuits. They don't want to, have, incidents that happened, back in the day in WWF and WWE with, Chris Benoit and stuff. So
Yep.
I think, them looking out for their talent, great move. If there's any of those indie, mug show clowns that have an issue with it, how about you go to NWA or you go somewhere else? Because I think that this is a
I
great
heard
move.
I don't know if it's on
I'm
the list
happy.
that I don't know if it's on the list that you read, but I also heard that they're gonna like sort of ease back on the blood, so it's not gonna,
Thank fucking God,
Thank
John
goodness.
Moxley's gonna be out of a job. I'm kidding.
I'm telling you, bro, the dude gets busted open getting in the shower.
What are
too
you
hot,
talking about?
He
He
just
get-
blood. He just
Yeah,
bleeds.
he sweats blood. What are you talking about?
When he brushes
He
his
just
teeth,
sweats.
he brushes until he starts to see blood in his gums.
Bro, even Renee
Brushes
said
till
on
he
her-
sees
even
bone.
Ren-
What do you mean?
Even Renee said on her podcast, bro, that his entire pillowcase, he just wakes up and it's just covered in blood.
Can you imagine if they're fucking getting lucky in the middle of the fucking night and then she's like, "Oh my God, I think I'm bleeding." He's like, "No, Renee, it's just me."
Well, even Matt Hardy even said too, like, he doesn't mind the AEW blood spots, but like it shouldn't be happening every single week. Do it when
Yep.
it matters.
Hey, Matt's a fucking veteran. What do you expect? Why do you think he's like one of the most important people that they've picked up?
Yeah,
One of the
exactly.
most
Well,
important
not
people.
according to Brian Last and
Shut the
Jim
fuck up.
Cornette.
Shut the fuck up.
We're not going to open up
Shut the
those
fuck
can
up.
of worms.
Shut the
You
fuck
already
up,
did,
Danny.
you fucking asshole.
Shut the fuck.
We're not
Nope.
gonna
Shut the
dive
fuck up,
into
Donnie.
that
No,
drama.
shut the fuck up, Donnie. Shut the fuck up, Donnie. Don't do it again.
I'm not. I'm good.
You'll get this boy going. Don't do it.
You're gonna make
Shit.
Ben sweat through his Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, but I do think that overall this is good that AEW is doing this.
Yeah,
definitely.
it's a great safety measure, and it really does show professionalism, and it'll put longevity back on the table for his superstars as well. So I'm for it.
Of course. But up next on the We Are Wrestling podcast, we're going to be diving into the comments of the weeks. And we got some more wrestling news that we're going to be covering. And of course, the main event topic. We'll be right back with more We Are Wrestling 65.
Like and subscribe, bitch.
Hey, this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and you're listening to the We Are Wrestling podcast. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
One thing We Are Wrestling recommends you to do is support your local independent promotions. They are the stars of tomorrow. And you never know, sometimes when you go to these shows that might only have 10 to 30 people, you could be seeing the next future WWE champion, maybe even the next AEW star. And through the years, I've always been a huge advocate to supporting independent wrestling. And you can't go wrong. It's a cheap night out, you get a good time with the family, and you get to watch some good old wrestling. Independent wrestling, that's where usually a young professional wrestler starts their career. And having these opportunities to perform in front of crowds is a great way to get exposure to where they will eventually be on your television screen watching them every week. We recommend you guys to support indie wrestling. We're back, and every week on the We Are Wrestling podcast, we do a thing called Comment of the Week. And all you have to do is comment on any We Are Wrestling YouTube video to get your comment, featured on a future episode of the podcast. So, this week we got not one, not two, but 3 comment of the weeks.
Ooh,
and our first comment of the week is from CS16241. And I believe this is towards me. He said this: what really happened with SML? So in case you guys don't know, years ago, I did this whole exposing SML video about, the puppet. They took similarities from one of my characters on one of my series. And I always get these comments from random trolls, random, maniacs. And here's what I'm going to say about this comment of the week.
Uh-oh.
If you want to hear my thoughts on SML, I will be making a future video probably within the next month or so talking about where I stand today with that bullshit. So you can wait until then.
Donnie getting trolled up in this bitch, bro. You
We all
getting
get
trolled?
Really?
You getting trolled by the comments of the week?
Absolutely. But our second comment of the week is from Arctic Phoenix 2789, and he said this on the MJF Try Not to Laugh compilation. MJF is the only person who could be an a-hole and still be loved.
It's very true, man. And like
Yeah.
I said, like MJF,
Just like LA Knight.
what makes MJF special is just some of the outrageous things that he says and gets away with. Like when they were in El Paso, Texas, talking about how all the kids should have been aborted. Like, where else on television can you say that? And not
All
get
right.
canceled.
So another thing I want to put out about MJF too is it's so funny because I don't know if this is going to be bad to say, but you can take this for interpretation, I suppose. I mean, I guess I'm already on a roll, but I'm going to say it. I think what is so great about MJF is that he is so proud of his culture, I should say. So he has your typical, I guess you could say, stereotype there, where he's just naturally loud and angry. Like if you ever watch any like fucking like if you ever see Big Mouth,
Yep.
the character Andrew Glauberman, his family is Jewish. His dad is
I know where
literally
this is
MJF. His dad is literally MJF in the future, just an angry Jewish man. But he's a tiny little buff angry Jewish man that just yells and talks hellish shit and is all about money. So I just want to say that he is basically an angry, honest rabbi. That's basically his gimmick.
Bro, I gotta say, man,
And I love it. That
Bro.
is lovely.
I love.
That's the comment of the week. Not Andrew's dad.
I've never seen the show, so I don't know the reference.
It's great. It's great. Go on Netflix.
Bro, I love what I love what they're doing with MJF and Adam Cole.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Right now, Adam Cole's acting like a Nick.
Oh shit. Oh god.
It was funny, bro, when they did the Fight Forever commercial. Like, you know, MJF was like, I play video games, and this is the greatest video game ever.
Yeah.
I literally just intercepted the comment of the week.
Yeah, you did. But here's what I gotta say, man. Like, I absolutely have to agree with this comment of the week because MJF, like, whatever he does is gold. It's fantastic. He could work as a babyface for a couple weeks. He could become, you know, the biggest heel like that. Like, MJF got so over this past Wednesday. So he was in a tag match, him and Adam Cole versus Brian Cage and Big Bill, which is, you know,
Big Bill.
Big Cass. And MJF got over by body slamming Big Bill like Hulk Hogan did to Andre the Giant. And he made it work, which is fantastic. And I got to say, man, MJF, I love what he does.
I'm going to see that. Need to see that.
It's the highlight of
Holy shit.
AEW, which is why I really hope he does re-sign with them. Because honestly, he's like definitely the thing I look forward to the most when I'm watching Dynamite.
I definitely think he signed a contract extension.
I hope so.
I don't think it'd be a smart idea for Tony to allow MJF for as long as he did to go out every week and talk about WWE and how excited he is to fucking eventually go there. Doesn't really sound like a smart business structure. But bro, I'm telling you, once MJF and Adam Cole finally hit this tag team clothesline, this double clothesline, that's gonna be the fucking biggest move in the pro wrestling business.
But you see, like, MJF doesn't have to do crazy spots to get over, and I think that's why people love him, because he's very old school, which is great. So I definitely got to agree with that comment. But our last comment of the week is from We Are Wrestling Maniac at Sam Death 3439, and they commented this: Collision is AEW's SmackDown. How do you feel about that?
Oh shit!
Collision.
Oh shit! Massive pop! Massive pop! I just watched it. I'm sorry. I had to see that footage. Oh shit! Oh shit! Dude! What? Oh shit!
I thought
Oh,
Ben was
shit.
geeking out because he fucking like managed to hit
No.
10,000 subs or something.
No!
I thought it was 5K he hit.
No! I was watching the MJF fucking body slamming Big Bill. They really fucking made that shit work. Holy shit! Okay, I'm sorry. I had a Mark moment.
But yeah, so Sam Death 3439 commented that AEW's Collision is pretty much their SmackDown.
I
So
would
like the best
say
show so far?
I would say AEW Collision would be their Monday Night. WWE still considers Monday Night Raw to be their A show, so that's the position I'd put AEW Collision.
It has the most views, I feel like, because a lot of people go out on Fridays, so a lot of people don't really catch SmackDown as much as Raw, where it's like something to watch after work.
Oh no, SmackDown does beat Raw in the ratings.
Oh, it does? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well then I don't know then.
But in
I
WWE's
kind of
eyes,
agree with Sam though. Like,
Okay.
Collision is basically their SmackDown because, of course, you know, Raw was there before SmackDown. That's always going to be, you know, their A show, even if SmackDown's getting more ratings. Dynamite is pretty much AEW's A show. That's their first show.
Yeah.
So I definitely see the comparisons there. I do love how, you know, both Raw and SmackDown are different, and I love that AEW Dynamite and Collision are different.
I haven't
Now
even
does
watched
the
Dynamite this week yet.
now is Collision like filmed in separate territories, like while they're touring? Like, are they in like?
It's it's so for the most part, it's been live every week.
So the whole locker room goes everywhere.
So I believe they like kind of like do a brand split without saying there's a brand split. So like CM Punk, he's been primarily on Collision.
Yeah,
and
well,
like
that makes
Miro,
sense.
he's been on Collision.
makes
Andrade,
sense.
House of Black, they've been on Collision.
Yeah, Aleister
Scorpio
Black,
Sky,
or
he's been
Malachi.
on there.
He
And
requested to be
There's
on
some
Collision,
people that go
right?
on both shows. There's
Yeah.
other people primarily on, Dynamite.
Okay.
So it's pretty much like a brand split without saying it's a brand split.
You guys want to hear a
Okay.
hot take real quick? This is not
Sure.
really necessarily a hot take.
Sure.
I have a feeling, Ben, you probably won't understand because I don't know if you've watched any of Collision. I
No.
think we're gonna be seeing Andrade join the House of Black at some point.
That would be odd, but I mean,
I don't
I'll
know.
bite.
All I know is I love the feud that we're getting with them. I really am enjoying it.
AEW Collision is it's more structured, it's more story based. There's
Yep.
Okay. Well,
things
then I'm
carry
gonna have to
on
take
week to week. It's so
Well,
much better than Dynamite.
I am only a couple weeks late, so I mean, I could catch up on Collision. So and it's on
Definitely should,
Saturdays.
man.
So I mean, I could probably peep that live. Now, where is it stream or where is it on?
It's on TNT, but you can watch it on like any of the.
Oh, you can
any
watch
of
the YouTube highlights for it.
yeah.
Like, there's all different channels out there that, put wrestling highlights for all different wrestling promotions.
Well, I might have to join the party on Collision then because I
You'll
feel like I'm
definitely
too
enjoy
late
it.
for fucking Dynamite. So I feel like and fucking Rampage. So
Here's
I'll
the thing
just
that I
start with
always say to a
Collision.
lot of here's the thing I always say to a lot of people that don't watch something. If you're gonna try to get into it, always get into it after a pay-per-view. Because that's when
Okay.
new storylines start. That's when,
Oh yeah.
kind of get a fresh start. And a lot of these promotions,
sure.
like AEW and WWE, they do show a lot of the stuff that you do miss so that you are caught up. And the pay-per-views, the way that they actually show the storylines with like really cool video packages. It's like similar to like documentaries. Like you get to hear
Nice.
like Jim Ross's side of things.
Fuck
You
yeah.
get to hear like Taz, wrestling legends, and then you get to hear like the rivals talk in like an interview set. So like they kind of build it like an actual fight, which is kind of
Yeah.
cool. But
yeah.
congratulations to all the comment of the weeks. We do appreciate that. We're sorry to all the maniacs that are scarred right now. Danny's got his pussy out. But if you want to get your comment featured on the comment of the week segment, all you have to do is go on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel and comment on any video. We
Any
usually
video,
pick
yo.
3 to 5 of them every week. But
Make
now
it
getting
interesting, make it
back
funny.
into the topics. So, last night on, SmackDown, we saw, Shotzi Blackheart on, TV. She, cut a promo and she ended up cutting her hair last night. And,
Straight
we're
buzz
starting
cut,
to see
man.
more of an edgier side of her. And I believe she cut her hair last night. She did it a part of the storyline, but she mostly did it because right now her sister, she's battling cancer. How
Fuck
do you
yeah.
feel about this new
Not the cancer.
side of Shotzi? So, guys, Ben right now is watching the Shotzi, promo from last night on SmackDown. Danny, how did you feel about it?
I really enjoyed it. I like how she was in a dark, secluded room, and it almost like reminded me a little bit. I don't know if if you're familiar with like the Saw movies or whatever.
I
but
am. That's one horror thing.
It had some kind of resemblance on that, and Shotzi was starting to we were starting to see like more of a darker side to her. And you could definitely tell like the side of her hair was, butchered because of what Bailey and Io Sky did the week prior. I will say, am I upset that she cut her hair? No, absolutely not. Especially like after, I found out that, she did it in support of her sister. I will say, storyline purposes, I feel like I would have booked Bailey and Shotzi in a hair versus hair match at SummerSlam just to have that big of a payoff. You could, further on the feud or whatever. I don't necessarily know if I would have done it the same exact way.
Yeah, so, my thoughts on the promo, I would have done it the way that they did it. I was very impressed. Like, for me, I haven't really been behind Shotzi's, run so far on the main roster. I know she's very good in the ring, very talented, has a lot of upside. And I felt like there was something missing. And I feel like this edgier side of her, I think, is definitely something that was missing. I got to say, this was definitely, in my opinion, her best promo. I really enjoyed it a lot. Her cutting her hair and, the fact that she's even doing it for her sister, like, even, speaks more. But also doing it for, a storyline definitely, works as well because it's definitely going to help her further her career and her run.
Yeah,
And
but I
it's
just
just
feel
something
like
I enjoy. Man, I really like the promo a lot. Like, I like this new side of her. I really do.
I do too. I just feel like it would have had a bigger payoff have it been like, her like challenging Bailey, like, you bitch, you cut my hair, at SummerSlam, I'm gonna shave your head. Like, if they did it like a hair versus hair match, because we saw how much it elevated like Kurt Angle and Edge back in the day. You know what I mean?
Hey,
It would
Molly
have
Holly and Victoria at WrestleMania 20.
like, when Vince McMahon got his head shaved when, Donald Trump. I just feel like it would have had a bigger payoff had she challenged Bailey last night to a hair versus hair match at SummerSlam. They could have built up to it. Bailey could have won. Shotzi could have got her head shaved, but she would have done it obviously in support of her sister, but it would have been able to further along the storyline as well. Because you have to remember, like, you also like, yes, you want to be in support of your family member, your sister, whoever it is, but you also gotta, worry about the storyline of where the story is going to be going. Like, how can they further the story now that Shotzi has already shaved her head? Like, what else is there that they can do? You know what I mean, to get people invested.
All I know is I really like this dark side of her. I really do. And I'm actually getting behind it. I haven't really been a fan of her run so far, but I think that this, definitely got me very interested. And another thing that, has happened as well, there's been a lot of backlash from, this YouTuber that I know you're very familiar with, JD from New York. And he posted something about it being, Vince McMahon, whole storyline stuff involved with it. How do you feel about that? And I believe that was, that statement was before Shotzi came out and said that she was, cutting the hair, because of her, sister being diagnosed with cancer.
I will say somebody like JD is very opinionated, and just like I am, just like you are, just like Ben is. Probably not to the extreme. And we also don't have even close to half of the following that he has. He has almost 150,000 subscribers on YouTube. He has like 60,000 followers on Twitter, like 10 or 11,000 followers on Instagram. So his reach is a lot bigger. I feel like if we said something similar, but went a little bit further with it, we wouldn't have gotten the backlash that he's gotten. So I think people take shit to the extreme, and I don't blame him for not wanting to apologize. He said it before it got announced that it was for Shotzi's sister. But he's apparently, if you go on his tweet, he's been getting, even before anybody knew, he was getting a lot of death threats over it and stuff like that. And he's like, these people are wishing that I get hit by a car, or wishing that, I get murdered in a ditch somewhere. Why am I going to apologize to please these fucking people? So I understand the reason why he's not going to backtrack on what he said.
And I know there's a lot of people that, are upset with it that aren't, threatening, him and stuff about, the statements that he made, about the Vince. A lot of people are just, fed up with, his comments about Vince this, Vince that. And I can understand it from their, perspectives, because if something bad is happening on television, why are we always blaming Vince McMahon when sometimes they could be a Triple H, decision? It could be somebody else's decision.
I feel like
not everything Triple H does is perfect. Just like Tony Khan in AEW. Everything he does is not perfect. There's really no promoter out there that does anything perfect.
But
So
I feel like
in particularly blame somebody over and over again when something is bad.
But I feel like we've been watching long enough to where we can clearly tell the difference between a Triple H idea and a Vince McMahon idea. And Shotzi just automatically shaving her head with no kind of payoff. No, it's not going to really lead to anything. It definitely screams more Vince McMahon than it does Triple H. Like I said, I'm all fine with her shaving her head in support of her sister. But I feel like it should have been a hair versus hair match at SummerSlam. That way you have some kind of a payoff with this feud between her and Bayley. And
Here's the
like,
thing,
where
I
can
feel
they go
like-
now?
Here's the thing, though. I feel like with this decision that she made, I feel like this was more of a Shotzi decision. I feel like WWE Creative didn't want to, put the pressure on her. And I'm sure Vince McMahon, he probably would love to do a hair versus hair match. That's always been one of his, go-to matches when somebody, wants to shave their head. That was always, something we've seen throughout the years. I think that this was more of a Shotzi decision. She probably, wanted to, cut the hair in honor of her sister. She probably didn't want to wait, until SummerSlam. She probably, wanted to do it, now. And it just happened to, benefit, the storyline more. I think that this promo definitely intrigued me and definitely has me very invested and interested in seeing what's going to happen.
You also got to take into account before I let Ben give his thoughts on that. WWE is all about looks and how somebody looks. It's the reason why they wouldn't give a contract or hire the Briscoes because they weren't TV appealing enough.
That was John Laurinaitis, that piece of shit.
That was fucking Bruce Pritchard. That was Nick Khan, So having her just shave her head like that, I feel like she would have had to get, approval from a lot of the higher ups because of all the marketing that goes into it, figures, video games, all this stuff, just randomly changing your look like that. I don't think WWE would just allow anybody to do that. A higher up has to suggest it or give them the idea for it. Just WWE is all about how somebody looks at the end of the day because of all the marketing and all the merchandise and stuff that goes into it.
So Ben, what were your thoughts on the promo watching it?
I think that was the best Shotzi Blackheart promo, period.
Yep.
I think that the old school vignette was definitely needed like a motherfucker. I think that it was a beautiful way to do it, especially like even that shot of her just dragging like the fucking clippers. I thought the setting was really nice. Like I thought like where they filmed it was also very key into the mood. And I'm going to, comment on something that Dan said about the whole like everything about being about looks. Usually that's true. But if we're noticing, we're starting to revert more back to the mature stages of where we used to be.
Yep.
I can understand not letting anybody do it. That's true. But you also have to look at circumstantial shit too. So this, one, is based on circumstance. Two, we are reverting in ways that are good. Three, with her look already, it already fits the bill. So it could work. 4, time for a gimmick change, which is going to be great. And it's also reigniting someone's career that has desperately needed screen time and also has more creative control now. So it's going to go in an interesting direction. So you're allowing this person to shine that has kind of been in the background. I'm stoked about it.
I just feel like it would have had a bigger payoff had it been a hair versus hair match. Shotzi loses, she gets taken off of TV, and then she comes back and, as like this whole new.
Not everything has to be theatrical, though.
Yeah, but where are they gonna go?
Thank you, Ben.
They still have to have a conclusion to this feud between her and Bayley.
And they're
going.
The conclusion is we're putting Shotzi over. That's the conclusion. We're putting a new star over. We're letting her be on TV and seeing where she can do to actually be someone taken seriously.
And I think that promo really impressed a lot of people, and it really impressed me. Somebody that really wasn't a big fan of her work. And I think that, if she did the hair versus hair match, we wouldn't have gotten this great promo, and there really wouldn't have been that change that she needed.
Yeah. This is a new gimmick.
You guys are stoked about it. I'm absolutely not. I think the promo was good, but the way they went about it was absolute trash. Just like because I can't think of anything else that they could do to where it would have that big of a payoff to make me want to care or make a lot of other people want to care. Like, who gives a fuck about Bailey and Shotzi? Nobody. But if you would have
Me.
had a match to where Bailey beats the fuck out of her, Shotzi shaves her head, and then she comes back a couple weeks later with this whole new gimmick and this sort of darker side to her, and I just feel like that would have been a lot bigger of a payoff. You could have
Yeah,
had
but
vignettes. You could have
last
had.
week on SmackDown, they attacked Shotzi and then they cut some of her hair. So why is she just gonna keep like her hair half butchered until SummerSlam in a hair versus
Why?
hair match?
Why did Bianca cut Becky Lynch's hair? The same exact way. I thought that was gonna lead to Bianca getting her head shape, but I mean, why? Same thing. Shotzi got her hair cut. Becky Lynch got her hair cut. I mean, there's things you could have done, man. I just think it's whatever they do now is not gonna have a bigger payoff than actually on that big stage at SummerSlam seeing Bailey shave Shotzi's head.
Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see with what happens. All I know is that promo, I'm very invested in
Promo
seeing
was
what's gonna
great.
happen.
Promo was fucking fantastic. I'm intrigued to see where they go with it.
So
I just
enjoy it
feel like
instead of being fucking negative.
I'm just saying, man, it would have been a great moment, 15, 20,000 people seeing Shotzi in the
Okay,
middle of the ring get her head
so
shaved.
instead of dwelling on it and going in circles, we can just say it could have been handled a little bit better. We could say that, we are few far in between, and that, again, you also have to look at where her hair was cut too. I don't think anybody's going to want to walk around with that for almost another half a month. I'm good with that. So I can, and she wants to do it as soon as possible to support her sister. I can understand not wanting to wait. And a gimmick change at this time, right before SummerSlam, into seeing who she is as this new gimmick, that's another fucking surprise. That's another payoff. She's going to be put over. We're in good hands, man. So
She gonna be the gothic female Stone Cold Steve Austin or Bill Goldberg.
No, I just see her being a force of reckoning now. Like this is, you have no idea what. Well, I mean, you probably do because you've done it, but emotionally standpoint, when you shave your head, that's a whole new level of freedom and empowerment, bro. So
Every time I've cut my hair that short, I've hated myself right afterwards, and I fucking
I feel
regret my
free as fuck.
decisions.
I feel free as fuck, and now I got hair again.
I've had long hair for so long. I think people would think it was weird if I had short hair now. I'm in too deep.
I'm in too deep.
All right, well, moving on now to our next topic here. Blue Kane has been making lots of noise in the pro wrestling world.
I
in the
have
independent
nothing to add to
circuit.
this.
Matt Cardona has been on Twitter begging some promoter to make this match happen between him and Blue Kane.
Oh, excuse me.
And apparently, Blue Kane's Twitter account has been suspended as well. And there's some people speculating that WWE, contacted Twitter to, get his account to be suspended because he is pretty much a bootlegged Kane. And WWE does have, the rights to the Kane character. How do you feel about Blue Kane?
I only know from what I hear in articles or the quick little videos that I see on scrolling through TikTok. I don't know a lot about it, but I do know that WWE does own the intellectual property of Kane. The costuming, it doesn't matter what color it is, bro. They fucking own it. So it makes me think like how this guy got away with it for as long as he did, and why WWE, but just besides having his social media taken down, why they haven't sent any kind of like cease and desist letter, or why they haven't tried to take him to court or anything like that.
Well, I'm sure they're sending it to him.
I just don't understand how people can get away with this, man.
It's coming in the mail anytime now.
It's coming in the fucking mail, bro. And like when he does this thing, and Kane does it, fire shoots up. Well, when Blue Kane does it, snowflakes start falling down.
I love what I've been seeing on social media with it. It's so stupid, but definitely needs to be acknowledged. And on the We Are Wrestling podcast, we talk about a lot of things in pro wrestling. Who would have thought that we would be covering Blue Kane? My God, it's Blue Kane!
This just goes to show you, man. Make sure you guys subscribe, follow us, because you never know what kind of topics we're going to be talking about on the We Are Wrestling podcast, man.
Yeah, and I believe Matt Cardona wants a match with Blue Kane in a casket match, but not inside a casket, inside a freezer.
Like a deep freezer.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ! What have we become as
I feel like
wrestling fans?
I feel like Billy Corgan would fucking book that match in a heartbeat. I mean, he just
You don't
had
got the money. You don't got the money to do it.
he just had EC3 and fucking Tyrus main event one of his big shows, man.
Yeah, no, I think GCW will probably end up booking this. Blue Kane, we're not going to see him on TV anywhere because obviously WWE has the intellectual rights to, the Kane character. I think it's just funny. I think it's fun.
Now,
But I do understand from WWE's, side of things, it is their character. They came
It's all
up with
fun and games until it gets legal.
Now, I want to ask
turn
you
from
guys.
Blue Kane to Green Kane.
I want to remember those pictures that were circulating online about like all different Kanes or whatever that were colors, and apparently Glenn Jacobs was like, "Yeah,
Dumb
that's
as
Photoshopped."
fuck.
I want to ask you guys something, man. Do you
Uh.
guys think this is somebody that we've seen before? Like,
No, it's not. It's just an indie guy. I
well, an
forgot
indie
I
guy.
forgot his name.
But I mean, Danhausen was a fucking indie guy. Danhausen, you know how he was on the indies is not how he is now. Like, so do you think we've ever seen him do like a quick little hometown, squash spot on like any kind of major show before?
Probably. Wouldn't be surprised.
I'm kind of curious to see.
But he's over now. My God, it's Blue Kane.
He probably doesn't want to reveal his identity because he doesn't want the fucking legal papers to get sent to his
Did you
house.
guys see the picture? Did you guys see the picture this past Friday? GCW had a show in New York and Matt Cardona came out as the Rider Taker.
I did not.
Dressed up as the Undertaker.
That's Matt Cardona, man. I know he's coming out with his own IPAs.
I do know that too. But yeah, Blue Kane, he's been making a lot of noise. But with that being said, let's dive into the main event topic for We Are Wrestling 65. And Warner Brother Discovery wants AEW to expand their pay-per-view schedule. Right now, they are currently running 5 pay-per-views yearly, which, this year is going to be 6 because of All In. They have AEW Revolution around February/March, AEW Double or Nothing in May, AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door in June, AEW All Out in August, September time, AEW Full Gear in November. Should AEW consider adding more pay-per-views?
Short answer to that is yes. As long as a streaming deal can be put in place, I don't think people will pay every month $50. That'll be a lot on people. But I feel like with them having a pay-per-view once a month, maybe like around like January, February, kind of like how WWE does. Like they do like maybe like 2 months without a massive show, whatever, just to let things breathe out, and then they have the big Ring of Honor show WrestleMania weekend. That'd be a smart move. But I feel like if they had more pay-per-views on their docket, the shows would be structured a little bit better because they wouldn't have time to stray away from whatever storylines they're in the process of building. And I feel like that's one of AEW's major issues is that with them only having like 6 pay-per-views a year, it's very easy for them to lose sight of the end goal at the end of the day. Like what storyline, like where are we gonna go with this? You know what I mean? There's just a lot of things that just get thrown on the show last minute. A lot of storylines don't make sense. Some storylines last like 2 weeks and then you just, people go their separate ways and they don't bother finishing it or having any kind of conclusion. So I feel like if they did a pay-per-view once a month, I feel like it would help them stay on track to finishing their stories, because that's one major issue AEW does have.
Biggest issue they have. But Ben, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm kind of on the fence. Like I definitely understand and can definitely get behind what Dan's saying. I kind of like, the very like the broader space between pay-per-views because it does give you more time to properly flesh out a story. And it gives you also something to look forward to because it doesn't come around very often, and every pay-per-view I've noticed just gets bigger depending on, what it is and where it is. I can also, see a couple sub pay-per-views, like, smaller ones in between, like kind of like, how you have, your paybacks, you have your fucking, your day ones, you have your shit like that. I think little sub pay-per-views like that would help also build on story as well, and it would also make it feel a little bit bigger without having to spend nearly as much money. So you could also, save some money as well. You can have them more at like arenas rather than stadiums. And you can actually have a more intimate thing where you can have superstars that don't get a lot of TV time also have a storyline start as well, and you can also include them on the bigger ones. So I guess more so I'm kind of where Dan's at, broaden your space a little bit, get some more talent up on the screen and, have better timing to flesh out the stories and to finish them.
Yeah, so, my thoughts on, this news coming out. I did like the way that they had it with, the pay-per-views being spread out like they were. But with Tony Khan's booking, it's not working. Let's just call it like it is. It's not working.
Yeah, man.
Storylines aren't being finished. Remember, Danny, with, the feud that happened with Keith Lee and Swerve? Did they even finish that?
No, Keith Lee got taken off of television after Swerve kicked a cinder block into his stomach, and then he came back as like some kind of wizard
tag team thing. Yet we never finished that, right?
Yep.
Exactly my point being, proven there. Like AEW, I think could benefit, having more pay-per-views a year. I think, once a month or every other month would benefit them. I think that it would definitely, be a lot better for them because on their cards, they already have like 12 to like 15 matches, including, the pre-show matches. So like they're like stacking their cards, with people. And I think they got to take the WWE approach and spread out the talent on these pay-per-views because it's only right because they have a lot of people on their rosters and you have to please everybody. And you're not going to be able to do that. But with these pay-per-views, you can spread them out and you can give other guys an opportunity like Ben was saying.
I will say, if they did have more pay-per-views on their docket per year, TK wouldn't necessarily need to, put 15, 16 matches on one show. He does that because, he feels like with there only being 6 big shows a year, that the shows need to be jam-packed with as much, to keep people wanting more as possible. But if you have more pay-per-views per year, you could get away with having 6, 7, maybe 8 matches per show.
Like I said, not every single one has to be prestigious as fuck. Like have a couple sub pay-per-views, for strict brands, and then the big ones can be the mashup of all of them. Make your own WrestleMania, bro.
And obviously, I'll tell you this right now about, AEW if they do this with the pay-per-views, and I'm going to I think you guys are going to agree with me on this, and I think the maniacs listening, watching, I think you guys will agree with me on this as well. What they should do is, let's not get more pay-per-views in AEW until they figure out the whole situation with Max, with the streaming network, because a lot of people enjoy the WWE Premier Live events because it's on Peacock. You only have to pay $5 a month with ads. If you want no ads, you can pay $10 a month. And you get all the big pay-per-views. You get Royal Rumble, you get WrestleMania, you get SummerSlam, you get Survivor Series, you get all these other ones as well.
$5 a month, bro. $5 a month. It's incredible.
That's why I have an issue with the whole Ring of Honor, the Honor Club, because they're charging people $10 a month. You get to watch their weekly shows and stuff, but then when it comes to the pay-per-views, you have to still buy them on pay-per-view. And I refuse to pay $10 a month for Honor Club, get invested in that, and then having to pay $40 to $50 for a pay-per-view.
And what if
Why should I do that?
And I do also want to mention, because like you were just saying, I do feel like this has a lot to do with, like, Warner Brothers Discovery and, like, the whole deal, whatever that they're trying to work out with them. Another report came out, and this was originally going to be the main event, but we're running a little bit late, so I did want to combine this topic.
It does
one.
kind of, combine with this. That's why I figured I'd make this the main event topic.
A report came out from Andrew Zarian. He does the Madman podcast. He also does a weekly podcast on the Wrestling Observer. Very well known individual in the podcast space. He confirmed with somebody from AEW that HBO Max does not have the infrastructure on their app or on their service or whatever to do like a live pay-per-view. I mean, that takes a live show or whatever. I would imagine that takes a lot, to do.
Wait until they can do it.
And so he's saying
they want to make sure it's perfect before anything.
He's saying by the time All In 2 is to take place, that the app won't be ready for that kind of infrastructure yet. So what he said was, because we have All In 2, and then the following weekend we have All Out, towards the end of August and the very, very, very beginning of September. So I think what AEW is going to be doing, what he talked about, was they're going to be doing a bundle deal. So you can bundle it with All In 2 and All Out. So you don't have to 1 week pay $50 and the next, the very next week you have to pay another $50. So they're going to sort of combine both of them. That way you can have All In 2
It
and
better
All
be
Out
reasonable.
on
probably be like $80
on Bleacher Report. I will say, even if it's like $70 for both or whatever,
like
I feel
$80, like that's fine.
I feel like that's a lot cheaper, because if you do $50 for All In 2 and then $50 for All Out, that's $100 plus, not including tax.
Yeah,
Hey,
so
if I
maybe
don't
like
make money,
$80
I'm
altogether.
happy with it.
Like $80
But I just think
altogether,
overall, like when it comes to these, pay-per-views, I think they just need to figure out a way to, make it happen on the streaming. If they're going to add more pay-per-views, I do think it will benefit AEW more, because they already have trouble finishing storylines. People disappear like bunnies coming out of a hat. So I think it's only right that we get more pay-per-views, more opportunities, and more, live watch-alongs on the We Are Wrestling YouTube channel.
And I gotta say, I wasn't necessarily gonna mention this. Donnie suggested before we even started filming that we could talk about it, because obviously a lot of pro wrestlers transformed into being pro wrestlers to being movie stars or whatever. With this strike that's happening, apps like Netflix, HBO Max, like there's gonna be starved for entertainment because everything is fucking shut down in Hollywood. Who knows how long that's gonna last? So I feel like they're gonna do everything they can to get something like an AEW on their app or whatever, just to keep subscribers from unsubscribing to the service, because there's no new content coming out.
That's one good thing about pro wrestling. It's around all year round. There's no free agency.
They're not part of a union, so they're not affiliated with the strike.
Yep.
Hey, we're gonna get The Rock and John Cena soon on WWE TV.
Yep.
I mean, who knows? I don't know.
Why do you think they're barking up a tree on Twitter right now?
Yep, Grayson Waller and The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
He mentioned him on SmackDown too.
Yeah, he's been calling everybody out.
Yep, he's got a lot.
I feel
of
like they're
balls.
gonna turn Grayson Waller into the new Legend Killer.
Probably. That's probably who's coming up next. I could see that being Orton's first feud, honestly.
So
that could be a good one.
So is there anything else that you guys want to talk about or cover before we close?
I think we covered it all. And at the beginning of the show, just a reminder, we were talking about Ben's growth on YouTube, man.
Shit.
And we said at the end of the show we wanted to get a brand new subscriber count in real time. I believe it was at 647, if I remember correctly.
It was at 46, 47. Yeah, that's what it was at.
So what are you currently at, man, to end the show?
It's not like a huge jump, but I've gone up 6, so it's at 46.53 right now in real time. So
make sure you guys go subscribe, man. The Lone Ranger 13 on YouTube.
Ranger, bro. Lone Ranger, son.
Rager.
Well,
Do I
Usually
look
I'm the
like
one
I
that-
got a badge?
I'm usually
No.
the one that mispronounces things.
you remind me of a
Danny for
Power
taking the
Ranger a little
reins.
bit. So
That's
Yeah,
why
bro.
you're the bottom bitch this week.
what's his name? What's his name from Power Rangers? Adam, the fucking Korean looking guy.
I don't
Yeah,
watch Power
Adam.
Rangers.
You're not cool.
I know. I guess I'm not cool.
Oh,
But
Jesus.
guys, if you're watching this, let us know in the comment section below your thoughts on all the topics that we covered this week. Go support all three of us. We all have, different YouTube channels and different ventures and different, business things going on. You
Yeah,
can
boy.
go follow us on our social medias and other YouTube pages. All the links are down in the YouTube descriptions below. But if you guys enjoyed, listening or watching the podcast, make sure to smash that like button now, download us, give us a 5-star review. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, subscribe, turn on the post notifications, follow us on all of our social medias and stuff. And, of course, to all the We Are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide, it felt great having the big three back, and hopefully we
Absolutely,
can continue
man.
doing this. Because, of course, you already know we are taking over. Peace.
Time to get our viral moment.